In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to choose your targets if you're a beginner in astrophotography. My aim in this video is to show you how to easily select astrophotography targets that will not be beyond your reach, that will be easy to image, and will give you the results that you're looking for. I'm going to cover how to use a nice piece of software which is totally free called Stellarium. I've been using this for a long time now, and Stellarium is going to enable you to easily find different astrophotography targets that you can see in your sky at any time. Once Stellarium is set up on your computer, it'll really make your life easy. So let's get this video started.
Before we continue with this video, let's talk a little bit about some of the basics that you need to know. First of all, let's talk about the position of objects in the sky. There's a system that is used in astronomy, which is very similar to latitude and longitude, which is used in GPS systems and so on. When we talk about astronomical objects, the coordinates that we use to find these objects, the right ascension and the declination, which is usually shortened to DEC. Before I go any further, I'll just show you what I mean in Stellarium.
So this is the free program I was mentioning, Stellarium. If I come down here, I can turn on the equatorial grid. This is looking in the north direction. This is the celestial pole. Polaris is somewhere here. From this point, we have the equatorial grid. These circular lines are marking declination. Now, these lines here going across the sky represent a 24-hour clock, and the 0 point is here. In this way, any point on this sky can be found with two measurements, the declination and the right ascension in the form of a 24-hour clock, looking at the northern celestial pole. It will be quite different in the southern hemisphere.
Another thing which is very important to understand is that astronomical objects, stars, and so on, move from the eastern horizon across the sky towards the west. Generally, when we're imaging, we want as little light pollution as we can get, so our objects should be high in the sky. You don't want to be imaging objects that are very low on either horizon. Okay, let's take a look at Stellarium.
Okay, this is in Stellarium, and we're looking at the night sky looking towards the east. And the first thing you can see, if I zoom out, is you can see it's showing some stars. And here you can see, for example, the Orion constellation. So what you can see on this screen, if you look very carefully, is, and I haven't had to set this up, it's already there. It's got the local time here, and it's also set my location. Stellarium should know your local GPS coordinates in order to show you the sky correctly. So here we are looking towards the eastern horizon. I'd like to demonstrate how you can find an object. Go to the left-hand side here, and this window pops out. Click on Search Window, and you'll see Object here. Let's search for Orion Nebula. On the left, it gives you all this information about M42, the Orion Nebula, and here is where it is in the sky. So you can see, looking over towards the south, southeast, very close to this star Rigel. If you click on this symbol here, you'll get a field of view representation of how the image should look. You can see that Stellarium has different field of view settings. For example, this is for a Canon 60DA and no lens. If you go here, you can change the field of view. So you can see it looks very different with a full frame Canon 5D, for example. How do you find an object? What you can see here are the RA and DEC coordinates at this cross point here. We'll talk about this in another video. In order to find an object in the sky using a telescope, you need these coordinates. The other thing you can do is to come down here to this panel and click on this one, and you'll switch on galaxies and DSOs or deep sky objects. Let's click on there and you see it's added, for example, the Rosette Nebula here, and here's what it looks like. Using Stellarium is very helpful because you can quickly see in your sky where different objects are. So here Orion Nebula is approximately here, and as we go through the night, what you can do is you can follow how it's going to move, and you can see that Orion will move across your sky like this. Another helpful way that you can use Stellarium is to check what targets you can image in different seasons. So for at the moment we're in the winter season. Actually I'm in February, and shortly after darkness this is my sky. You can see several targets like the North American Nebula over here, the Elephant's Trunk Nebula, Andromeda, Pleiades is here, and you can also see the Orion Nebula over here. You can do a fast forward. 1 month later my sky looks like this. In April we'd be in galaxy season and we'd have much fewer nebulae to image. And by June, of course, it's getting darker much later in the evening. But you can see coming up early in the evening different targets that we can image. The Blue Horsehead Nebula here, and North American Nebula has come over to here. We've still got the Elephant's Trunk Nebula. In July we can find that things are moving a little higher in the sky here. This is how things look in August. This is early evening September. Pleiades is starting to come up. Soon we're going to be able to start imaging Pleiades. Here we are in October, and we are in November. You're going to want to image targets in the east or targets in the central high area. Let's talk about what we need in terms of targets. We want really bright targets, and we want large targets. They're easier to image. We want to be imaging high into the skies. We don't want to be imaging around the horizons. Now let's look at some quick tips. Light pollution is the problem. You can't really do anything about. So if you image like I do at home, you've got to deal with the light pollution which you have. If you choose targets from an area of the sky with lower light pollution, you'll get better results. I've tried to show you the beauty of using Stellarium. I urge you to explore and play around with it. You can use it to choose targets for different seasons. You can identify where the targets are and how they'll move during the evening. All things that any astrophotographer needs. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have enjoyed it, then please do subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out. Give a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.